Hi, thank you for joining us. I'm Vida and this is the weekly news roundup. These are our top stories. City Hall moves forward with Bang Chương Act leg development. Environment Ministry identifies origins of 83 rubbish filled containers. Minister blames official for issuance of invalid documents to foreigners. Forest Authority identifies 2 more companies suspected of illegal logging. Pork consumption plummets as fear of ASF spreads. Tourism Minister vows to end $0 tour packages. We begin with our top national stories. City Hall is moving forward with its plan to develop the Bang Chương Act leg after it sacked one of its development partners. In May, City Hall revoked 5 land titles granted to ING Holdings, a company owned by tycoon Ang Bon Ho. City Hall said the titles were revoked because the company failed to develop parts of the leg into a commercial hub. Despite losing its development partner, commercial development continues. In a statement issued on Monday, City Hall said a working group was ordered by the Council of Ministers to measure and define land borders in the leg's development area. City Hall said, quote, the working group has identified 190 hectares for development and 181 hectares are meant for a reservoir. It added that the working group has also identified families living in the 190 hectare development area. City Hall said landowners have until August 15 to cooperate in order to have their land measured, and that if they fail to do so, City Hall would not resolve any problems. City Hall spokesman Mir Phakday on Tuesday said the number of families living in the area will be revealed after the deadline. He added that following the measurement, families will have a chance to complain to City Hall. The Environment Ministry on Wednesday said the 83 rubbish-filled containers found at Sihanouk Autonomous Port came from the United States and Canada. The containers filled with unwanted plastic waste were first discovered on Tuesday when national and local officials visited the site to inspect the containers and identify their sources. Environment Ministry spokesman Nate Petra said 70 of the containers were shipped from the US, while 13 came from Canada. Mr. Petra said all in all, the unwanted waste within the containers weighed 1,600 tons. U.S. Embassy spokeswoman Emily Ziegberg said in a Wednesday email that the embassy is monitoring the issue. She said, quote, we have requested additional information and are offering U.S. government assistance to determine both the exporter and the importing entity here in Cambodia. According to media reports, Cambodia is not the first country in Southeast Asia to ban rubbish imports from overseas. Indonesia, the Philippines, and Malaysians have also sent back containers full of rubbish to Canada and other developed nations. Interior Minister Saw Kheng on Wednesday slammed his subordinates for issuing nearly 40,000 unauthorized administrative documents to foreigners. According to a report issued by the General Department of Immigration, 3,441 invalid documents used by 69,871 foreigners have been revoked since 2017. Mr. Kheng said high-ranking officials are to blame for the distributions of the documents. He said, quote, if we did not seize the invalid documents from those foreigners, they could have automatically obtained Cambodian citizenship. He said, quote, if we did not seize the invalid documents from those foreigners, they could have automatically obtained Cambodian citizenship. Mr. Kheng added that no mercy will be given to officials who issued invalid documents and that foreigners who use invalid documents in order to reside in the kingdom will be arrested. GDI Director General Kit Chantarat said amendments to the law on immigration must be made and that the relevant legal instruments are required to better manage immigration. The National Committee for Forest Crime Prevention yesterday identified 2 more companies suspected of illegal logging in Mandaluyong province, where authorities continue to crack down on criminal networks following the arrest of well-known timber tycoon Sung Samol. The committee has been ramping up crackdowns on illegal logging across the kingdom, specifically in Mandaluyong province, where Mr. Samol was arrested on July 9 as it began dismantling his large-scale illegal logging operation. The committee had already identified several provincial officials and directors of companies to be questioned over possible links to Mr. Samol's operation. During a press conference yesterday, NCFCP identified 2 more companies granted economic land concessions in the province that are suspected of colluding with Mr. Samol and also running their own illegal logging operations. The 2 companies are Chinese-owned firm Vichari and Cambodia-owned Naina. Brigadier General Eng Hee, spokesman for the committee, noted that 5 companies are under investigation as the case moves forward. The others are Mr. Samol's Master K Son, Chinese-owned Touchwood Cambodia, Chinese-owned firms Yan Chao Cambodia. He said that the 5 companies will face legal action if they are found to have committed logging outside of their ELCs. On to our top business stories. As new cases of the African swine fever virus come to light across the country, sellers of pig products are reporting a decline in business activity. They said ASF is threatening their livelihood and raising a public health alert. The outbreak began in neighboring Vietnam and has so far reached 4 provinces in the kingdom: Ratanakhiri, Bong Khmom, Svai Rieng, and Ta Keo. Sellers at markets in Phnom Penh say pork consumption is dramatically down since early this month, but prices remain stable. If the outbreak is not brought under control, farmers say their businesses will suffer the consequences. Southporn 42, a pork seller at Sacha, told Khmer Times that her business is already feeling the pinch, with concerned customers refusing to buy meat. Ms. Puan says before news of the outbreak spread, she used to buy 8 pigs a day to sell in the market as pork. Now it is down to just 3 pigs per day, but demand is so low that some days she failed to sell out. Despite the decrease in consumption, Ms. Puan said prices have remained stable, with a kilogram of pork fetching around $5. Surunpao, president of the Cambodian Pig Raiser Association, said authorities have stressed that the disease does not harm people. However, news of the virus is having, quote, a psychological effect on the consumer, resulting in lower consumption of pork products. Agriculture Minister Wayne Sakon has repeatedly called on authorities to take decisive action to prevent illegal pig imports. Moreover, the ministry has temporarily suspended all forms of buying, selling, raising, and transporting pigs in the area where the disease has been found. The Minister of Tourism earlier this month said companies offering $0 tour packages are damaging the tourism sector and vowed to take action to protect the industry. Speaking at a tourism event in Siem Reap province on July 14, Minister Thongkhon said the low-cost or $0 tours bring unsuspecting tourists to businesses in which they are coerced into purchasing expensive goods. In exchange for bringing in tourists, the tour operator received light kickbacks from the business. Mr. Khon said, adding that the practice makes tourists feel cheated and discourage them from returning to the kingdom. The minister said that some hotels and restaurants had to close because $0 tour operators collected money from customers but did not give it to them. Klas Chanda, president of the Cambodia Hotel Association, agreed with the minister's comments, saying that the country faces a potential decline in tourism activity if companies continue engaging in the practice. Chai Siling, president of the Cambodia Association of Travel Agents, also called for an end to the practice. This is all for this week. Join us again for another episode of the Weekly News Roundup. I'm Vida. Have a good weekend.